And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are going to the land of Scythe, or Scythe, I don't know, one of these days I will grow up and learn how to pronounce this, uh, the name of this game appropriately, but I will say Scythe. And similarly, that is another word I'm struggling with clearly, along with the word, I almost said Dahan. I've been playing way too much Spirit Island, if you can't tell. Along with the word Automa. Is it Automa or Automa? So I'm going to say Automa today. And somebody can tell me in the chat, if the comments below, if that is wrong. So look, we're going to get the Wind Gambit expansion on the channel. It's one of those expansion where, look, these things look really freaking cool. And then you play with them and you're like, all right, they do some things, I guess. It's in this weird space where they add just enough that you're like interesting, but not enough that you really always feel the need to play with them. Most of my games of Scythe do not involve the Wind Gambit airships because, again, it's like they just don't do enough to really justify it. Beyond the fact that they look really cool. I mean, they add to table presence. If you're into table presence, you might like it. I think against the Automa, they are good. I mean, they're interesting. They can definitely help get you jump started depending on what the modules come up. Modules are that come up. Again, there is one aggressive module in a game against the Automa, or I guess any game where the airships are in. There's one aggressive module and one passive module. Now the Automa only really uses the aggressive module, but obviously there's a card that correlates to whatever this is to say what you need to do. But basically will give the Automa some benefits in combat should there be any combat where the Automa is either adjacent or on the location, depending on what the card is. The passive benefit only goes to the player. So I do think that with the passive player, the passive ability, most of these cards will make a game against the Automa a bit easier if you are using the Wind Gambit, but it's very, very marginal. This is not a big game changer by any stretch in the imagination. Really, if you're playing with these, it's because you think they're really cool and you like how they look on the table. At least that's my opinion. But let's do it. I think it'll be fun. I am going to play with Polania. And so I'm going to go to the Scythe app because it is amazing. And I know I'm playing with Polania because I've played with the others and I randomized it at one point and that was where I came up with. So I'm going to keep drawing the first player until I get a Polania. Repick. Nope. There we go. So mechanical Polania. So I'm getting the fourth board here. Or the board with the number 4 on it, I should say, because it is really the 6th board if you have the expansion. Oh, there, earthquake over there. That's fine, we're good. And that will be fine. And let's see who my opponent is. Next player is going to be Saxony. All right, Saxony. We'll play as Saxony. I'm going to use the blue. No, I won't use the blue. I'll use the yellow mechs because the dark, the black pieces are so dark that it really kind of messes up the video here. So let's get some of the Crimea stuff, and we'll get the Saxony board. So come on over here, Gunter, you little whippersnapper, you. All right, so we're gonna put Gunter over here. And again, you can see how those dark pieces really just kind of mess up with the video quality. So we're going to get rid of these. Get out. And we're going to, I might actually use, yeah, so it's black and yellow. We're just going to use all of this stuff, I think, except I'll leave Gunther on the board because, it's Gunther and we love him. Okay. At least I love him. I mean, you might not know him the way I do, but there's a lot there to love, I promise. We're going to have the power is going to be on the 1 for Saxony. And then again, you're playing against the Automa. The heart stays at number 10 for their popularity. We're going to have a worker there, a worker there. Someone's going to be tuning into this and being like, what? Is he playing against Crimea or Saxony? I don't understand. Yep, that's about right. So my impressions of the people that watch my videos and like to complain about some stuff, just get better and better, I think, with time. That's my personal opinion. So I will say almost in 99+% of the comments I get on this channel are awesome. So please, please, please do not take this comment too far. I am just rambling. All right, so we're gonna get I'm gonna have to set up my stuff over here, thanks to Gunter hogging my space. So I'm gonna put this here. This is a encounter token, which obviously playing as Polania, no encounter token is safe. What is Polania's deal? Well, every time I get an encounter card, I get to pick 2 options and not just one. It does make a little bit higher variance. You know, you really don't want to build your entire strategy around that, but it's a nice benefit, and the right encounter card early can really set you off to the races. All right, so I think this will work. Man, I might even get the yellow stars. Yeah, it's just too dark. All right, yellow stars, here we come. And that is that. So the white also has some issues, but at least the white, I think, comes out good enough for the video. The black on the camera just doesn't look that great. So good. But I am going to sub out Polania's airship for the Rusviet airship, because I think that will help give us kind of the aesthetic I'm looking for right here. And aesthetics matter, kids. All right, we have the Automa card down here. I'm playing on Automa-controlled. We will put Gunter's little peg there, and we need 9 stars on the Automa cards until we get to round 2. At round 2, the cards flip over to a more combat and power heavy side. So there are 3 of the 19 cards in the Automa deck that do not have stars. They just have the grayed out. It's like it's a star, but it's grayed out with like a line through it. So obviously you want to get as many of those as possible, because that slows down the Automa, and often you are 1 or 2 turns away from being able to rack up a lot of points near the end of this game. So other things I need to do. So I'm going to use this app this app is amazing. By the way, I love the Scythe app. I highly recommend it. I don't use it to dictate the Automa movement. I know the Automa movement rules enough that I'm fine without it. And I also never play with more than 1 Automa. And I know some people love multiple Automas. I find it way too much upkeep. I find like I'm managing a game more than playing a game. And that's not what I enjoy. But if that's what you do and you want to play 7 Automas on a 7-player board, great. Just knock yourself out. Just don't judge me too hard, because it's not what I want to do. I'm going to get 6 money because of the mechanical board. We're going to put my mechs on their little homes here. And then we have our 6 tech upgrades, and we have our structures. All of them are in, and I think that's it. So I'm going to start at number 2 on the power. I'm going to get 3 combat cards. Saxony gets 4. I will do that now. I need to put the rest of my workers in. The rest of my Polanian combat troops. Awesome and awesome. So airships do not have the benefits so when you uncover some of your mech abilities, airships do not get the same benefits as your mechs and your character do. And again, as Polania, one of the things that I try to do more than with most factions is I do think there is some benefit of trying to get a factory card earlier. Because you can get, assuming you can unlock that mech ability for that +1 speed, now you have a factory card, so now you're doing +3, and that really will help you hoover up a couple of encounter tokens late, which can be really nice. But again, you go too far out of your way and get an encounter token that doesn't really help you. You got to be careful. I often find my way. I mean, sometimes I can't resist her to go up there, and that's like kind of no man's land. So it's not always the best thing to do to get an encounter token every single time you can do it. At least in my experience, some more expert Scythe players might say that I'm bananas, which wouldn't be the first time. Just I prefer to get as many encounter tokens as I can within reason, but I still want to be in a place where my character isn't going to be like off in no man's land because I went on a wild goose chase for the perfect encounter card, which may or may not come. So the tiles we need, we're going to have to figure out our bonus. The bonus is going to be structures built adjacent to mines, so not next to mines. So the number of mines is what is important here, number of distinct mines. So there's only 6 mines on the board. So there's only going to be the most you can get. I'm sorry, not mines, tunnels. Right, because this is your mine. Your mine can connect to the tunnel system. So if I have 2 structures built adjacent to the same tunnel, that only counts as 1 for the purposes of this endgame bonus. Right. So what other modules? I'm not going to use the resolutions. The resolution modules, I find they're not really for me or my game group. They're interesting. I don't honestly play this game enough to justify really using them. And against the Automa, I find them a little bit broken. I don't think they're that great for the games against the Automa. They just add a wrinkle or two, but nothing that I think is worth doing. And a lot of them do make the game easier in a way that I don't really want to experiment too much with them. So, but the airship modules here are as follows. We have Siege Engine and we have Drill. So I'm going to take the aggressive abilities for the airships and we're going to go to number 3, Siege Engine. What is that ability? An opponent may not move their character and mechs out of your airship's territory unless they pay you $1 per unit moved. Interesting. So there's going to be a reminder card for that here. And there are now a bunch of descriptions for how this is going to play out for the Automa. So valid territories, any territory in the neighborhood of any Automa unit or adjacent to the Automa airship. Choose destination, the valid territory closest to an enemy unit. And any combat units on bases are ignored unless no enemy combat units are on the board itself. So Automa movement, right? So Automas move whenever the character moves in a non-attacking move. So there are 2 non-attacking moves for the characters. The one non-attacking move is the factory or encounter token move, right? So where the Automa is based, the character is trying to get to an encounter token. Well, by the way, the airships also are constrained by the Riverwalk abilities. So the airship will be able to move out of there until after we get to the 3rd star in the game. The second non-attacking character move is the non-attacking character move, where the character moves as close as possible to the enemy combat unit. So when either of those movement actions are done, the airship will also move. Now, the movement is going to be different based on whatever the aggressive module is. In this case, the airship is going to move as close to an enemy combat unit as possible, and it's going to has to be in the neighborhood of any of the Automa units, right? So if the Automa is here, the airship would move here to get as close to me as possible. But you ignore my units. If you ignore my units in the base, unless there's none other on the board, then you would go toward the base, right? Which makes some sense. The ability is same as the human version. So what the ability is, if I'm trying to leave if I'm here and it's like only the character or the mechs. So this doesn't affect the workers, but if I have my character here and somehow Saxony got his airship there, for me to leave there, I do need to take one of my dollars and give it over to Saxony. But the same will be true on the other side. If I get my airship over a space where Saxony is, that means that they're going to have to pay. I'm going to take some of their money for them to leave if the Automa deck actually indicated that their mech would need to leave, right? If the Automa has no coins, ignore its character mechs that are on a territory with an enemy airship while performing the select unit step of the movement action. The Automa is going to have coins. It seems like an unnecessary little thing there. Again, the Automa starts with 5. So that's crazy. That is, I guess if you really master this strategy, you can find a way to make the Automa broke. I don't know. It seems a little bit, unlikely to little old me. All right. So Siege Engine is the aggressive thing, and Drill is the passive ability. Drill is numbers are hard. Number 11. Your airship's territory has a tunnel that only your workers can move through. Very nice. So 2 little other points about these tiles. First, the aggressive tile. So Automas either carry workers or resources. And work the for the ability for them to actually pick up workers or pick up resources, you can only pick up or drop off whatever you're picking up or dropping off if you're in the process of also moving the airship, right? So getting up to this tech upgrade where you have the third movement ability is pretty important if you're going to try to make the airship more central to your strategy. Now, you really don't have to, right? I mean, honestly, I can play an entire game against the Automa with leaving my airship on the home base, and my final score is probably going to be pretty darn close, assuming I'm making good strategic decisions otherwise. But if I'm going to have them on the board, I mean, I might as well try to integrate them at least a little bit into my overall strategy here. So the one is this Automa. This airship. If I was in the middle of my movement, I can basically move workers, just like I can move workers with a mech. So if I wanted to, move these workers into there, so I can start getting some metal earlier, I can say, fine, I'm gonna move into that, and along the way, I picked up these two workers, and we're here at the end of my movement. I can drop those workers down, right? So that is kind of some of the flexibility. Now, what it means with drill is if my airship is there, well, now all of a sudden the worker that's there is now connected to the tunnel system of the game, which is pretty cool. And the other, so I made the note about what's on the aggressive tile. On the passive tile, what you have is that 3 with a hex around it. That means that when I activate the Automa and choose it as one of my units to move, I can move 3 hexes away. All right, I'm not constrained by lakes. I'm none of that. I don't have to worry about Riverwalk. I'm a freaking airship. I go where I want to. All right, that's about right. Statements I don't make in life very often. All right, we're going to shuffle up the objective cards. We are going to get the same amount of objective cards that you normally get in a game of Scythe, and that's 2. King of the Hill, control the factory at the end of the turn and have the highest power of any player. Ties are okay. And Divide and Conquer, have 0 factory cards and control at least 2 territories adjacent to the factory at the end of your turn. Well, I guess we're going toward the factory one way or the other. Getting the star for the objectives is really important, I find. It's just one way to really help keep your score, good. I mean, you look, you can win this game without, normally the Automa and Hard is going to get 6 stars before you do, but you're going to want to have at least 3 or 4, and one nice way to get that is with an objective card. Plus, again, I kind of like getting to that factory with Polania anyway. That extra opportunity for movement to get to some encounter tokens, I think, makes a lot of sense. So we're going to take 3 of these factory cards. Again, it's considered like a 2-player game. There's us, the Automa, and then you add 1 extra factory card. We'll put these up here. We got to shuffle up the encounter cards. Did already shuffled up the combat cards, and at least they're face down, so I assume I shuffle them, and that's fine. I'm going to take cards. I don't know why I'm not just giving him 4 and me 3, but I will deal those out. The old poker dealer in me coming out. So we're going to give 4 combat cards to Gunter, and we're going to take 3 combat cards ourselves. What did we get? We got a 2, a 3, and a 2. Good start, kids. That's grand. Yikes. All right. Let's look at this mechanical board and how this will relate to Saxony. What do I want to do? Well, I can build. I want to be adjacent to tunnels. So looking at that, and then this kind of will help me get another tunnel where I want it. So that's nice. Looking at these, this combination of having the enlistment happening on the same panel as the produce. Clearly, we're going to want to try to get some enlistments out. Again, it's pretty balanced. There are two money every time I deploy a mech, 2 money every time I build a structure, 2 money every time I enlist. So I think what makes sense is we're going to do a produce, we'll do a move. No, we'll do a produce, we'll do a trade, we'll do a move, and then I could do a bottom line action on my very 3rd turn and get a a structure out. And then we'll see if I can't. Well, that 4 wheat's going to be hard to do. But get a structure out. Maybe I go back to trade, then I go back to produce, and maybe get my first enlistment out. But I'm actually, that's probably not gonna make much sense. I'm probably gonna want to get. I'm gonna start wanting to get dudes into the village right off the bat, so we can get up to a more optimal production. So, having said all that, still think I try to get. I'll probably get a mill out my first turn here, or on the third turn, and then just really start maximizing the production of wood. If I can get all my structures out early, I think that will really kind of help the rest of this game take some shape. So I'm going to go here to produce. We're going to take ourselves a wheat, our food. We're going to take ourselves a wood. Good times. We're going to do the Automa's turn. Automa is it is Saxony. Does not have a power of 5, so it's not doing a combat action. It's doing a worker move. We pick up the worker close to the Automa's base in reading order, and then move it to the place where it is adjacent to the most Automa units, ignoring units in the base. That will be Hitha, because it is closest to factory, and it is in the neighborhood of one other Automa unit. Remember, workers cannot be where other workers are. Combat units cannot be where other combat units are. The airships have no effect on any of that, right? Airships don't have neighborhoods. They don't affect what could be where. They're not considered combat units, and they're definitely not workers. They're giant ships. All right, we're going to gain ourselves a worker. We gain 1 money. And then if I had the enlistment bonus of popularity open, I would get 1 popularity now. And we get our first star. So Gunter is on space 1 of the track to get to the second part of this game. Great. I'm going to now do a trade action. I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to get myself 2 wood so I can build a mill on the next turn. I'm going to put this wood here. We're going to do the Automa's turn. Automa's going to, we're not playing as Tagawa. It's a non-combat mech move. The Gunter doesn't have any mechs with him yet, so we're going to do a worker move. We pick up the worker in the base now, put it there. It's in the neighborhood of 2 Automa units, and that's that. Automa gains a mech. Star. Done. My turn. Movement. We're moving 2 of our units. I'm going to move... I'm going to move this guy, and I'm going to move my character and try to get toward that encounter token. That's going to be important for sure. And I'm going to do my bottom line action. I'm going to spend these 3 wood, and I'm going to build myself a mill. Cool. That is that. I get 2 money for that. And we're done. Automa's turn. Automa's going to do a worker move. It doesn't have any, well, doesn't have any workers in its base. Again, we still don't have Riverwalk unlocked. So we'll pick up the worker, and the worker's going to move right back where it was, which is totally legit. Automa gets stuff. Automa gets another combat card. If I had the enlistment bonus for combat cards open, I would get a combat card. And again, this is one of the 3 X'd out stars. Nice. My turn. I'm going to do a produce action like so. Man, it's 3. At some point, we're going to need to get some mechs. That should be okay. I'm looking at these tech upgrades. Yeah, we'll see what this encounter. Well, first we should probably get this encounter token and kind of see what's going on. So we're going to produce. I'm going to produce 1 wood, and the mill's there. So the mill basically gives me another wood, and then we're going to get ourselves into the sweet spot of 3 workers. I'll probably get up to 5. I think that will make some sense. No bottom line action. Automa's turn. Bam. It's Polania would do a factory encounter token action. Obviously, I'm Polania. We're going to do a non-combat mech move. Now remember, Riverwalk's not unlocked yet, so this mech move is going to go closest to factory, closest to me. That is there, and that's done. Gunter gains another worker. He gains another mech. If I had the popularity, enlistment bonus open, I would get a popularity, and now we are done with not having Riverwalk. So Gunter is going to be on the lookout. Now, obviously, we have not had a character move at all, so that's why the airship has just been chilling on the base with our character. All right, I am going to. I know the rules say something. There's another kind of move you can add if you really want the airships to be more active, but you see, they're kind of an interesting part of the experience, but just they can be very, very like not on the side. Again, some of the aggressive things some of the aggressive things like can cause more combat. There's the one like Blitzkrieg where like the airships can combat, but I don't know, it's not that mind-blowing. It's like, oh, look at these airships, they're gonna fight, but they really kind of don't. All right, I'm going to go here. I'm going to spend $1 because then when I move I can build myself another do I want to build myself another structure so quickly? Maybe not. So I changed my mind. I took the $1 back. Let me move. Let me see what this is. I think it really could help define some of the rest of this turn right now. And yeah, I think that makes some sense. So I'm going to move the airship to this village, right? I think that will that will basically give it will give my workers access to the tunnel system, which is great. And then I'm going to move my character here. So my movement ends. I'm going to pick up this encounter token. Then that means we get our first encounter card. What is it? Ooh, oil is nice. So help an inventor install a heavy gear. So basically I'm chilling out. There's some train that looks like it's broken down. Maybe there's some guys inventing the train version of our airships. Maybe they're more useful. I'm going to get myself 2 oils and a popularity. Remember, these go on the territory where my character is. It is a character encounter after all. It gets me up to 4 popularity. Now I could spend 3 money to build 1 structure, or I could spend 2 popularity to gain 4 oil. Now I hate spending popularity this way, but the 4 oil could be very nice because it would mean I can get a lot more. It would give me 6 oil total. I can get 2 upgrades guaranteed. It would give me an opportunity to get over here, get some of the resources I'm going to need to build my mechs. I think that is probably too good to pass up. So I'm going to spend the 2 popularity and let me get this 4 oil. Yeah, and it has to be oil. So yeah, unfortunately don't have the other wood to do the bottom line action on the move thing right now, but I think that made some sense because I was able to kind of see now where do I want to go next, and if I go to do the trade, what am I really going to need. That I think that's a pretty highly effective turn for me for sure. And I'm gonna want to get a mech out here sooner or later so I can start moving along. So I think that will help define my next few turns pretty well. Great. Automa, what are you doing? Automa's doing a factory card or encounter action. So obviously the factory is not in the neighborhood of any of the Automa units. So there are 3 encounter tokens in the neighborhood of Automa units. There's this encounter token, this encounter token, this encounter token. This one is closest to the factory, so he will go there. That comes off. Now the airship moves. Again, siege engine. The airship moves it's got to be in the neighborhood of an Automa unit, and it's going to be closest to an enemy combat unit. So closest can include being on that unit, but this is just going to go here for now. Okay, so the interesting thing about these 2 cards and where they come together, and it's one of the things I do like that, I mean, this doesn't always happen, is now strategically, if I move the airship, do I want to move the airship in a place where I'm going to get more money? Remember, money equals points in this game. Or do I want to keep the airship where it serves more as a functional drill, right? Some interesting stuff to consider. So I am going to say not having enlistments is not going strong with enlistments is a problem, because that produce action is now just so much less bang for your buck. So before I do that too much, I am going to want to try to find a way to get my workers on a farm. But obviously now we have an airship that's kind of saying that this farm is going to potentially create some other problems for me. I'm going to do a trade action. I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to get myself 2 mechs. Or 2 metals. Metals will become mechs. I'm going to put that with this worker up here. And then I'm going to spend 3 of the 6 oils I just accumulated. And we are going to do a tech upgrade. With that tech upgrade, I'm going to get myself the ability to move a 3rd unit. And I'm going to make it cheaper to build a mech. That makes sense. No, I'll make it cheaper to... Yeah, I'll make it cheaper to build a mech. Yikes. Interesting. If I move again, the ship can carry my workers. I could kind of just move it. I could move it 3, move it over here, draw my workers on a metal, and then if I build a structure there that's adjacent to 2 tunnels, right? I can't build a structure there. I can't build a structure 1, 2, yeah, and I don't want to be too close to them with my workers. So that might be the coolest idea I got going there, and I could put like an armory or a monument there to start gathering some power or some popularity. So I will make my structures cheaper. I don't get any money bonus for that because of the mechanical board. It's like mechanical, but somehow tech upgrades don't do squat for you. All right, did I forget? Yes, I did forget to give Gunter his bonuses. Last turn I just did the move and I stopped. Gunter does get a worker. Gunter gets $1. Sorry, dude. He's like so mad at me right now. I can just feel it. And then there's also a star. All right, so that is 4 stars. We've moved 4 along, so we're like halfway done. Great. Toma's turn. What are we doing? We have Albion will be doing a factory action, a counter target action. With Saxony now, we are doing a worker move. It has to be in the neighborhood of the most number of Automa units. Now it's 1, 2, and 3 if we went there. It's 3 if we went here. Remember, this doesn't matter. The airship doesn't have a neighborhood. So we'll put it here. And again, it can't be in the neighborhood of an enemy combat unit. I don't have any ability to get into there, so that is totally fine. There's a river between me and between good old Anna and that worker, so that's totally fine. So that's going to go there. Automa gets stuff. Automa's going to get a worker. Automa gets $1. If I had the enlistment bonus for $1 open, I would get that, and then we have a star. So we have moved now 5 along in the first 6 cards. My turn. We're going to do a movement. I get to move 3 things. Oh, shoot. I probably want to produce. Do I want to produce, or do I want to just kind of let this go? I'm not producing. I can always try to produce more workers later. I mean, that 3 or 5 is an interesting sweet spot. The problem with 5 is obviously you're spending a power every time. I'm not super strong on power. So let's just move. Let's get this done. I have a vision. Kids. Let's do it. So we're going to pick those up as part of the worker move. The airship move, I can move 3 hexes. 1, 2, 3. At the end of this move, we're dropping them off. Now, I do need to drop them off if I want to try to build there. Or if I want to have them produce. Like, all that stuff comes into play. And then so that was 1 unit that I moved. I have 2 more units that I can move. I'm going to move... I'm going to get a mech soon, so that's fine. At least that's the theory. I'm going to... Oh, I could do this. This is even better. This is fine. Well, and if I build, it's not adjacent. Probably not going to get adjacent to all 6 tunnels. That's going to be hard to do, but I think getting adjacent to 4 is very, very doable. And the question is, do I want to start making Gunther pay me? Which is pretty sick. I think I might. Especially I don't have really anywhere else that makes sense for me to move right now. So what I'm going to do is move. I'm going to use drill to allow the workers to move into the tunnel system there. That's 1. And 2. And then I'm going to use the 3rd piece of movement I have to move my airship. Again, that does not cause a battle. That doesn't send the worker home. And then I'm just going to put him chilling over Gunther. So Gunther has to pay me. All right. Super cool. That is my 3rd action, my 3rd movement. I'm going to spend this 2, these 2 wood. I'm going to build a structure on this mine. It's not ideal. I still should be able to get myself the bonus of 4. I just think this is kind of allowing me to do more of what I'm looking to do right now. I will put the armory in play because I'm worried about my lack of power. Cool, especially since, well, nah, let me put the monument in play. Especially since I spent those 2 popularity. I think every single popularity I can get, I want to make sure I at least get there. With Polania, you do have a good shot of getting up into here, but I did spend 2, so that's going to obviously hinder that ability a little bit. And then also I'm going to get myself 2 money. Good. Automa's turn. Automa's going to do a factory action. Factory and counter token. Gunther's going to move here. Oh, it has to leave my location. Again, red is me. Red and white. Black and yellow. So that is... Oh, wait. There's 2 encounter tokens. Well, you can't go here because there is a mech, right? So you can't have 2 combat units in the same spot. So Gunther has to go there. It's in the neighborhood of his units. That has to give me $1 to leave. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a 2-point swing. That's nice for me. And then that's his movement. The airship now moves. The airship's going to go into the neighborhood of one of his own units, and it's going to move closer to the factory. So it's going to go there and kind of cut off my way. If I were to get speed and submerge, I guess I could still, if I move, yeah, if I move in, that's fine. But when I go to move out, I'm gonna have to pay $1. So I might just be giving Gunther back his money, which is that could work as well. All right, Automa gets stuff. Automa gets 3 power and gets $1. And if I had the right, he paid me. I was like, why is he missing dollars? Right, because he paid me. Duh. And then if I had the $1 thing open, I would get an enlistment bonus, and then there is another gray star. So we're doing good. You could always check to make sure you move the number of stars by just counting how many stars there are. 5, 5. We're good to go. All right, my turn. I am going to do a tech upgrade. I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to get 2 metal. And I'm going to spend these 3 oil. And I'm going to upgrade my ability to bolster and make it cheaper to do my mech upgrades, mech deployments, I should say. So again, it doesn't have to be the same panel. I chose to do the same panel. I get no bonus there. It's probably the end of the tech upgrades I'll be doing this game. I think that will help. I think that was the most effective use of those 6 oil for sure. Obviously, that's why I did it. All right, Gunther is moving again. Gunther cannot get to an encounter token. The only encounter token that's in the neighborhood of one of his units already has a combat unit, so he's kind of stuck there. Again, the airship does not have a neighborhood. So he's going to do a non-attacking mech move. All right, non-attacking mech move. He is going to go here and join up with his airship. Now, does the airship want to move? No, airship's going to be in the neighborhood. Oh, wait. I moved wrong last turn. Shoot. I moved wrong last turn. Automa would have actually, the airship, since I am already in the neighborhood of where, of one of the Automa units, he would actually move where I am because he gets closest to me. That includes the space that I'm on. Gunter now moves here. The airship's already as close to me as he can possibly get, so it's going to stay right there. So sorry about that mistake. The Toma gets stuff. He gets a worker. He gets a power card. The nice thing with the airships is if you make a movement mistake, because of the way the airship moves, usually when you move it the next time, you're just going to correct it. And like you might be none the wiser for it, but like it just never had any game impact whatsoever. If I had the enlistment bonus open for power cards, I would get that. And then we have ourselves the 6th star, right? And we already have three gray stars. We're probably not going to see the third one before the Automa gets up to the 2nd tier of cards. I'm going to definitely want to start protecting my workers with mechs. How's that going to go? So I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to bolster, so I get up to 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get a popularity because of the monument. I'm spending 2 of these medals. I'm going to get 2 money, and I'm going to deploy my first mech. What mech do I want to deploy? I want to deploy Submerge. Yeah, I think Submerge makes the most sense here. Great, so that is done. I'm considering just starting a battle next turn, because why not? Yeah, I might, before Saxony gets too loaded up with power. My power cards are kind of garbage. It's one of the downworks of not doing an enlistment and getting those 2 power cards early, but we'll see what I want to do. All right, Automa's turn. A worker move, so worker picks up. It goes to the neighborhood of the most Automa units. This is actually 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Don't think we're going to beat that. We're not, so that goes there. Saxony gets 3 power, so it's up to 7 and a star. Yoinks. Benefits of, well, I don't have, yeah, if I produce, that means if I produce, then I could actually do I can do a move. I can do a move. I can do top and bottom actions the next 2 turns after that. I think that makes the most sense. There is a benefit to attacking Saxony before he gets into the 2nd tier. The way these cards are, it's like 0 to 7 is 1 power they spend. 8 to 13 is the 2nd power they spend. 14 to 16. So if that power goes up again next turn, this might have been a mistake. But I don't know if it makes sense for me to move. I don't think it makes sense for me to move before I actually have. Before I have the what I'm going to want to do a bottom line action. Just to be more efficient. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to produce. I'm going to get 2 metal on this tunnel. I'm going to get 2 wood here, and that is fine. Again, not enlisting yet. All right, Atoma's turn. Atoma's doing a non-attacking mech move. Yikes. All right, so the Atoma is going to move from the base, and it's going to go here, which is closest to one of my combat units, closest to factory. So that's all sorts of interesting. All right, airship doesn't move. Obviously, the Automa is going to get stuff. It's going to get its last worker. It gets $1, and we move a star. My turn. Do I want to move? All right, let me move. Kind of clear this space out a little bit. It's getting really crowded. So I'm going to go 1. That way if there's a combat, I don't lose my workers. I don't lose my resources. So we're going to go 1 and 2. This guy being here is gross because I really just want to move there. I know I'm going to have to pay their airship as I go. So I didn't mean to do that. So 1. So that was my first move. I'm going to try to build a structure this turn too. So I'm going to move a worker here with my second worker move. And my third move is I think I go ahead and try to initiate some battle. That could be pretty strong. We'll see. Why not? All right. So I have to spend. Well, if I lose this, I lose that food. Who really cares? So I have to spend $1. Here's your money back, Gunter. That's fine. I'm gonna go all in on the attacker, right? So maybe not need to go all in, but I'm gonna get another mech next turn. I'll do 7. They have 7 power, so basically, again, there's the way these break down is like 0 to 7, 8 to 13, 14 plus. So there are a number of cards that are like 0 to 7. The Automa spends all 7 power, but it doesn't have any cards. I think that might make the most sense. And going 8, I'm not sure if 8's gonna matter that much. So I'm going to spend 4 power. I'm going to commit this card. So I'm going with 7. Again, ties go to the attacker. And that is nice. So we're attacking Gunter. Anna versus Gunter. Crime. Oh, that's bad. Wow. Well, it was an attack card. So Gunter was attacking me next turn. Gunter loses all 7 of their power. And then Anna goes back to the base. This resource just goes bye-bye. Oh, that was a thing too. Oh, it's bad. It was the last gray star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're good. Shoot. All right, so also Saxony gets a combat star, and I will get I'll sub them out when they're up there. Why not? So that's his first, and now I will get a consolation power card. That King of the Hill is interesting. I get a 3, which is not great. And I still get to do my bottom line action, so I'm going to spend these 2 wood. I'm going to get 2 coins, and I'm going to put a structure here. So now I'm adjacent to 3 different tunnels. So I just want to get to that 4th tunnel to get up to those extra 2 points before this is all over. All right. Well, a wee bit of a setback. That's fine. Toma's turn. It's a non-attacking mech move. So the mech is going to look for. It's going to get as close to a combat unit as it can to me. I have the only combat unit I have on the board right now is this one, and it's going to. It has to stay in the neighborhood of its own unit, so it's going to put us up there. Obviously, closest to factory is that's right on the factory, so can't get much closer. Atomic gets stuff. He's going to get a mech and 2 power and star. So we now are in the second phase. So. Yikes. Again, I would have had 1 more turn had that I'd not done that combat, but the combat result would have pretty much, well, actually I wonder. So they would be attacking me, and who knows? We'd have to run back, see what the next card was if I was going to have a chance to win that. All right, so now these are all at 2. Oh, and by the way, we get ourselves another star. It just goes anywhere up there on the track. Cool. My turn. I'm going to spend $1. We're going to bolster 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to get myself a popularity, and then we're going to spend these 2 metal, and we're going to what are we going to do? We're going to get ourselves a mech. I get 2 money. And I'm going to put out speed. And I'll put speed here. That's fine. What is this? Village? I mean, we can see I'm not really in a place where I'm taking advantage of the encounter cards, and it's a wee bit unfortunate. It is what it is. What makes sense next is a pretty solid question. Might try to get these workers up to the village. And remember, if I can get divide and conquer, have 0 factory cards, and at least control these 2 territories, that would be a nice objective card for me. So Automa's turn. It's a worker move. Worker picks up. It's going to go to the area of the neighborhood of the most Automa units. This would be 3. This is 3. This is 3. So it's going to be closest to factory reading order. It's going to stay there on that lake. Not in the neighborhood of any of my combat units. 8 is what it is. Automa gets 4 power, so it's back up to 6. And we get ourselves a star. Yikes. My turn. We're going to do a move action. I'm going to move my character into this lake here. I'm going to move... Should I produce first? Nah, I don't think so. Don't think so. I'm going to move my character there. I'm going to move my airship. No. I'm going to move this mech 1, 2, and I can, again, I'm carrying the worker through. I couldn't let the worker like leave. I have to carry it all the way through. That's my second action. Again, this doesn't count for controls. I can't just be like, oh, I control 2. I do want to get a second one in there. Oh, wait, never mind. This is a tunnel. That's super nice. Again, my mind connects to the game's tunnel system, so I'm going to go 1 and 1, and I'm going to leave the worker there and go 2. And the next thing I'm going to do is go 1. No, 1. Are there villages over here? I mean, I'm trying not to move this stuff. I'm trying to get King of the Hill now because I know I have the opportunity and I might not come again. Third thing I'm going to do is going to go 1 and leave those workers together and go 2. Why do I want that much? Oh, the only wheat production thing is here, which isn't great. That's fine. I'll bolster, then I'll move again, then I'll produce, and I'll try to get a bunch of stuff here. Hopefully I get a bunch of food in this next encounter token. All right. So, onward and upward. So we're going to do the Automa's turn. The Automa's doing an attack action. If its power is to an 8, it's close. It's not quite there. Worker move. Again, this is in the neighborhood of 4 of its units. And then we're going to... Oh, and I claim a star because I did my objective. Divide and conquer. There's that. All right. Automa's going to get a money. It has no more workers to get. I don't have the popularity enlistment bonus open because I have none of the enlistment bonuses despite my food being on my produce tab. And at least we get ourselves the gray star. My turn. I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to bolster 3. Gets me up to 7. I get a popularity. I'm going to spend these 2 wheat. We're going to do a bottom line action. I get 2 money. And I'm going to put my third mech out there. And I'm going to put out Riverwalk. Sure. I'm going to put this guy here. Sure. I can bring these up into that area. I think that will be fine. Toma's turn. It's a worker move. Worker's going to go... This is the neighborhood of 3. This is the neighborhood of 3. So this actually, camaraderie can come and help. I won't lose popularity if I force this guy off, and I do always, generally try to get the factory into these games. 2 power for Saxony. It gains a worker, doesn't have any more to gain, and gets a star. My turn. Movement. What are we doing? Well, we're going to that encounter token for sure. I'm going to move this guy up here. That's my second action. And my third action is my third movement is I'm going to move good old my airship to here. That will be fine and kind of make Gunter sweat a little bit. That's right. Big Rusviet airship encroaching on your space. He's very confused. All right, that's fine. Let's kind of do that. Trying to see where the light's the best for these things. Cool. I'm going to do my encounter token. Let's see what it is. A couple of wood would be very nice right about now. So this is only my second encounter token, which isn't great. Gain 2 food and 1 popularity. Okay, that's fine. I can pay $4 to deploy a mech. It's a wee bit tempting. Or I can pay 2 popularity to gain 2 food and 2 metal. Yikes. This is probably my best chance to get my last mech out, so let me do that. So I'm going to spend 4 money to deploy my last mech. I do not get the bonus for that, obviously, but it's nice to get this out, and I'll put him, where does he go? Well, he still goes where my character is because this is from a character encounter. I'm going to get a star for having all my mechs out, which is good. If I build there, that will work because then I'll be adjacent to 4 different tunnels, which is exactly where I want to be. All right, Automa's turn. Automa's doing a non-attacking mech move. It's going to go closest to one of my combat units, closest to factory, reading order. It's going to go there. It's going to get some stuff. It's going to get a combat card. It's going to get a $1. It's going to get a mech. Last mech. I don't have a Lisbon bonus open yet. Looking pretty bleak there. Star. So we get our 3rd star on the board. So Gunter has 3 of his 6 stars. Done. My turn. I'm going to produce. I'm going to get 2 food, and I'm going to put those here. I can produce on 2 more places with workers, 1 more place with a worker, and then the mill. I just have my 3 workers on the board. So we're going to get 2 wood, again, because of 1 for the worker there and 1 for the mill. Great. I'm going to take the 2 food I got from my last encounter plus these 2 foods. I'm going to spend these 4 food. We're going to do an enlistment. That gives me 2 money. Nice. Now I'm going to open up this enlistment. I want to make sure I get that into that 2nd tier. And I do have 1 more structure I'm about to build in my very next turn. And I'm going to put this thing here to get 2 more combat cards to try to beef up this 3. This 3-2-2 is not that inspiring. There we go. I get a 3 and a 5. Makes me feel a wee bit better. All right, we're going back to Gunter's turn. What are you doing, Gunter? He is doing a attack move against a worker. He does not have anyone. Again, the airships don't have neighborhoods. He doesn't have anyone in the neighborhood of my unprotected worker, so that's good. It's going to now do a worker move, so he's going to pick up the worker closest to his base, reading order, so this worker wins. This goes in the neighborhood of 4 different Automa units. This is also in the neighborhood of 4, actually. 1, 2, 3, that's a neighborhood of 5. That's bananas. So it's going to go right there. Yikes. Gunter gets 3 power. Really hope it doesn't hit that 16. That'd be a little sad. And then he gets this. I would get the enlistment bonus of a power card had I had that open. And then Gunter gets un staro. My turn. Let's do some movement. I'm going to move. I have camaraderie open. So moving is not the most insane thing. Just trying to take over that factory. And if I have 2 units there, it's pretty much never going to attack me there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. All right, so 1, 2. And then my third movement, I'm going to go through this lake, get this encounter token, and do exactly what I said I shouldn't do before the game, because now I'm in no man's land. Super fun. All right, let's do this combat for the factory. I am going all out. I do not want to lose, so I'm going to spend these 2 cards, and I'm going to use all of my power, and just it is what it is. So I will be defenseless the rest of the game, but the as long as I have other units within, ooh, well, no, I think it's fine. If they attack me next turn, they would still attack me on there, but I think I have to go all out here. I have to go all out. So we're doing I'm attacking with a 15. What do you got? Gunter, what are you doing? So he's only defending with 4 and 1 power card. So clearly I win by a ton. He gets a consolatory card. I did spend all of my power. That's fine. Sometimes you gotta win. I don't lose that popularity for sending that worker. All his stuff goes back to his base. Nice. All right. We got a star for winning a combat. We have temporary control of the factory, which is super nice. Now I don't get a factory card because my character's not there. My character's farting around up there. Speaking of my character, Anna's going to get an encounter token. What do we get? All right, so I gained 2 money and 1 popularity. And we are officially over the hump there. I can spend $3 to enlist a recruit. I can pay 2 popularity to gain 1 worker and 3 food. Well, definitely not spending the popularity. Do I want to enlist a recruit? Probably not. I mean, well, it's not the. I mean, I guess it's not the worst idea because I can get 2 of those dollars right back. Fine, why not? I'm gonna spend this 3. I'll list this, and I'll get the 2. I'm tempted to take power. I'm trying to take popular. That's not gonna happen. Well, I guess I could if I unlock that, but that's not gonna happen. I'll take the 2. Basically spending 3 money to get 2 power, which is probably dumb. I'll unlock the power card. Well, that's a little iffy. I'll unlock the power, and I'll take 2 money. And we'll see. I don't think that's gonna matter all that much. Alright, that's out. Oh, now bottom line action. All 1 turn. I know it's crazy. I'm going to spend my 2 wood. I'm going to get 2 money. I'm going to get my last structure on the board. And that's going to give me another star for having 4 of my structures Dunskies. Cool. I'm trying to think what makes sense. I mean, I can go here. Don't have the factory card. Again, I'm back up in No Man's Land, which is something I said I shouldn't do. Whatever. What is it? Oh, it's a combat! Yikes! So, worker unit closest to home is going to go to the only place it can, which is here. I'm going to defend with a 5 because I have 2 units, and that's the most I could spend. Gunter only has 7. Gunter, what are you doing to me? The nice thing is this isn't a star, but yeah, I might be losing the factory right back. I just worked so hard to get it. What is it? 7. Well, yeah, so he gets 7. He spends all of his power. He spends a combat card. I get a consolation combat card. It's a 4. These guys go back to my base. Gunter now took the factory back because he's a big jerk. And that's how that goes. All right, he gets another star for winning a 2nd combat. And that is that. Gunter gets $1. I tentatively did that, but then I decided the power might be a little bit more steady. But obviously, that would have gotten a combat card for that, but it's a gray star, so we're good to go there. My turn. Well, that makes me a little sad. I'm going to trying to get my last couple of stars here. I'm wondering if there's a way to kind of get back to the center. If I just try this spread out game and just do territory control, I think trying to get back to that factory is going to be a mistake. So gambit a little bit, got a little unlucky. It would have been smarter to, again, leave the 2 units there, have this guy 1 away, not get that encounter token, because what did that really get me, right? Not all that much. So, and then it would have been guaranteed just attacked me. I could even gone here, because again, it would do, the fewest combat units is always one of the things that the Automa takes into consideration. All right, so I'm going to, I don't think I can even get both of these off. So I think if I load up on resources and just keep moving and spread out, accept the fact that I got 4 stars, which is a decent start, and then just kind of maximize my score here. I think that's going to make more sense. I'm going to go to produce. I'm going to get 2 food. I'm going to get 2 wood, and that's my turn. Gunther, what are you doing? He's doing a non-attacking mech move. Closest to home is this guy. He's going to move here. Oh. So it's going to be closest to one of my combat units. So there's one, and closest to factory. And then it's going to be reading order. So that's going to be right there. Gunther's going to get 2 money. He's going to get his last mech. He gets a star, which gets him another star on the track. So he's 1 away from ending this thing. Fine. My turn. I'm going to, he can't get any more combat stars, even though he's Saxony, right? The Automa doesn't get the abilities of the actual faction. I'm going to move. I want to try to spread out. Oh, man, he really... This is what I shouldn't have done. Again, I'm stuck in no man's land. It's all my fault. No one to blame but myself. I mean, the worst part is if you pick one of these stupid cards that gives you 3 power cards, it doesn't matter if he spends 0 power. He has all the power cards he needs. And not one of these cards has 3 power cards. So, attacking him is probably a mistake. Great. Let's just spread out the old-fashioned way. So we're going to go moving 3. I'm not going to get any more encounter tokens. Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go 1, 2. All right. Protect that worker. We're going to go 1 and 2. And then my last action is 1, 2. Well, let's go down here. Just kind of, again, trying to play the territory game, maximize how many hexes I can control at the end of this game. I could, if I was desperate, I could spend... oh, and I did, just going back here reminded me, I took the star for having my 4 structure. I never took the 2 money for the popularity for building that last structure. So because it reminded me, because I'm like, oh, that should have been up here. So I could spend these 2 resources to get 2 money and a popularity, but again, I'm not getting up to that 13. That's not how, even if I did this, I mean, we're still shy. There's not going to be enough turns. So I don't think these 2 resources are now worth, again, the resources over here. So it's really an even trade. I spend the resources, I get 2 money and a popularity, or I hold on to the resources and I get 2 per. I get two money per every 2 resources I have. Anyway, so well, since it's even trade, might as well spend the resources in case I don't want anything weird to happen. I get 2 money and I get a popularity. Cool. Let me make some change here. It's getting a little unruly. That's 6. That's 7. That's 8. That's 10. 6 to 8. That's 5. Yep. So get myself a 10. Well, I'll get 2 5 spots. And then we'll do the same for Gunther. 2, 4, 6, 8. So you saw, like, you notice the airships, they're really just kind of chilling now. Gunther doesn't move much anymore. The mechs are doing all the bidding for the faction. So we're just kind of like Really, just no super point to them being on the board other than they look cool. And I already took that popularity. Great. Gunther, what are you doing? Gunther is doing a factory and counter token action. Oh, nice. So he has to pay me $1. Of course, I just literally just made the change. I'm going to make that 5 into 4 for him, 1 for me. And why? Because there was an encounter token in the neighborhood of one of the workers, and he can go back there now. Why? Because the mech left. Great. This goes away. That does mean the airship also moves. The airship's going to move into the neighborhood. So it's going to move, again, in neighborhood of the Automa units. So this is a combat unit in the neighborhood of the Automa units, and this is a combat unit in the neighborhood of an Automa unit. So I guess the valid territories for this, usually it's you're not worried about your own adjacency. You don't really have a neighborhood, but again, adjacent to this airship matters. So again, he was basically had me blocked in for a while, so I don't think it would have mattered. This is like the first character move that I've done for a while. So he can actually care about, the airship would actually care about its own adjacency, what's adjacent to it already, based on the rules for the siege engine, which is fine. So the reality is this is a valid territory now because it's adjacent. Well, it's already a valid territory because the worker. Again, so many of these rules like normally don't make a big difference or any difference how effectively this plays out. So this is a valid because a combat unit. So I have those two that are both valid. 1, 2, 3. They're both 3 away from the factory. So this is the winner chicken dinner. Anna is going to end this game in the shadow of the Crimean Saxony airship. that's how that's going to go. All right. Automa's going to get 3 power. Automa gets a worker, and then I would gain a power card if I had one to gain. Or if I had that enlistment bonus undone, Automa gets a star. So we're going to be done with this on the next star, making sure I didn't miss one along the way. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So 2 grays and 6 gold stars, and that's perfect. My turn. I'm going to produce again just to run up some points. We got 2 food over there, 1 food here, and 1 wood. I'm not going to trade those 4 food in because they can't help me, right? These food are worth 2 per pair. If I spend them, well, I spend 4, I'm only getting 2 money back. Doesn't make any sense. So we're just going to call it there. And then Atoma's turn. Automa would attack if it had a power of a 7. It would do a worker attack if I had a worker in one of its neighborhoods that was vulnerable. Now it's going to do a non-attacking mech move. It's going to move this into the area adjacent to one of my units. So this is 2 away. This is 2 away. This is close to the factory. It's going to go there. Gets 3 power. I do get the enlistment bonus of a popularity. And star, that is the end of the game. We will load it up and see what happened. Again, my biggest mistake was seeding that territory. That's a pretty big swing, and I think that's probably going to bite me. Just kind of not thinking that through. Going off of that encounter card, there's no way that was worth risking losing the factory the way I did. But it is what it is. So so Polania I have 10 popularity. I have 4 stars. I control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes, which isn't terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes. All right, fine. 9 hexes. Resources. I have 6 resources. I have in money, I have 18, and I built next to 4 different tunnels, so it's a total score of 73, which is pretty solid. Saxony is going to have 6 stars. It controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice again, the airships don't count for control. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hexes. It has no resources. It has a total of 14 money. And Saxony wins 74-73. Yes, Saxony won 74-73. That's insane. So yeah, an interesting game. Clearly, just didn't play very well. The two, I mean, just again, getting stuck up here was dumb. Losing that factory. I mean, you see it's there. You just hold on to the factory and like you win, right? That's a really significant swing, and it was just a bad decision on my part. Additionally, there was no. I spent the 3 to enlist. That was kind of dumb, right? Because like I spent the 3, I got the 2 back. I mean, there was no need to enlist. I clearly wasn't getting all 4 of my enlistment bonuses done. What did I unlock? I unlocked this power. What's that 1 power really going to do for me? So that was kind of a really kind of a silly move on my part. So I wonder. So if I didn't do that, I forget what the tiebreaker is in this game. I think it's the most stars. I think I would have lost even then. Say in total. Oh, number of workers, mechs, and structures. Oh, I would get crushed. I would have gotten crushed. Yeah. So I would have still lost if I had not done that. So yeah, really the mistake that mattered was the one where I conceded. I gave away control of the center. Don't do that. Watch solo playthroughs to learn what not to do so you can be a winner, not a loser. I mean, what was that last card? I mean, I gained 2 money in a popularity, but I spent 3 money to enlist a recruit. So in the end, that cost me, well, I spent the 3, but then I got the 2 back. So that cost me 1. So I literally gained 1 money and 1 popularity, which I didn't need, right? So it got me stuck up here. So that the gain of 1 money, you take that 1 money away from my score, right? That gives me 17. All right, now let's do my hexes different. Presumably Anna would be out, right? Because I would have lost the battle. I would have lost that battle. You know, if I was here, I would have lost that battle wherever the heck it was. But I would have gotten 2 more hexes. I would have gotten 2 more territories. So I'd have 11 territories. And now Saxony, instead of having 12 territories, well, it would have a territory somewhere, but wouldn't have the factory, so it would only have 10. And then I would win that game 78-68, which is it's a pretty ridiculous difference, right? So look, a score in the 70s is about where I end up in these games these days. If everything comes together, could you totally crush it? Sure. You know, you're with Polania, that losing that battle early, and then being able to find a way to kind of get myself back into a position where it was my game to give away by that bad decision. It's still pretty fun. You see these abilities, it's almost like they're so. One of the concerns I have with this, with the Wind Gambit, and why I really don't play it with my friends, because who don't play this game really that much at all, is that there's rules. There's only a couple more rules to learn. Great, but the rules are used so infrequently that I think they're just become like just this forgotten thing, right? I think the Siege Engine, actually, I liked how that played out, and the ability of the ship to actually carry your workers. You could see how that helps you expand a lot quicker. But seeing, I netted $1 in the end, but it was like we traded some money back and forth, so it made them a little bit more instrumental to kind of the strategy of it all in a way that I really liked. And again, drill being able, actually, no, I decided not to. That's right, because I had drills, but had I not had drill, then I probably would have carried them over and to do what I did, do what I was thinking about doing originally. But then drill, it said, all right, I just have a tunnel, right? The one that I think really makes the game a lot easier is there's one that gives you the ability, this almost counts like a a windmill, right? So if you have a windmill and your airship in a place and you have one worker, you're producing 3 of a resource, right? So it's pretty insane. I forget what that one's called, but it's very, very helpful. What are you? Oh, this one's nice. Boost. You get you extra range. But again, they all just kind of the better these cards, since the Automa doesn't get this benefit, the easier it makes the game, right? And I know I think it's my 3rd loss in a row of Scythe on this channel, but like whatever. It is what it is. I assure you, I do win this game often enough when I'm not filming it for some reason. For some reason, the film doesn't like me. All right, yeah. Whenever your workers produce resources on your airship's territory, produce +1 resource of that type here. So again, it counts like a windmill, but you do need to be there. So unlike the windmill will still produce even if your workers aren't there, this airship won't. So that's Reap. That's number 14. And they all have some pretty cool benefits. The one that I find really benign, man, I feel like I'm ripping this way too much, but the hero is really silly. When your airship ends its movement on a village, you may pay 1 objective card to gain an objective card and a popularity. Like, what's the point? Like, it's so silly because, like, it only has a movement of 1, which is what makes that not interesting, right? Make this interesting. Make it have movement 2 or 3, so you can do that multiple times, and that becomes part of your strategy. With movement 1, well, now I have to move my airship once, then I move my airship again, and then I could discard an objective card to get a popularity. Like, it just doesn't change the game enough to justify the hassle often. So that's my gripe. This was one of the more engaged that I saw. Again, I think Siege Engine now is like probably one of my favorite modules. It's been a long time since I played that module. I mean, I just go with the randomizer from the Scythe Kick app and kind of went with what it went, but glad to get that on the camera. Kind of glad you could see some of these strategies if you're still kind of learning Scythe a little bit, and if you're more experienced, you can laugh at me not making sure I held on to that factory. That was really, again, kind of silly to go up there. It's fun. I even said that before the game. It's like that's the thing with Polania. It's like, oh, and counter tokens, and I'm like, why would I go up there? And I think I was still a little bit drawn to this idea that maybe if I got the right card with like 2 popularity or 3 popularity, I can get myself up to that 13, which really does break the game open. But usually for the player, but holding out to the factory is often. I mean, if you're holding out to the factory, you probably don't need to worry about getting up to that 13 as much. And 13 was way more of a pipe dream at the time I was in the game anyway. But some interesting combat. Was able to win 1, lost 2. Obviously, that first one was a little could have definitely went either way. It would have been a little unlucky with that one. That last one, I went all out to take control of the factory. That didn't really have much of a chance to defend myself once I was there. But again, there's only so many attack cards on there. I was just hoping that the next one off wasn't an attack card, and sure enough, it was. So we had to deal with that. Yeah, so it was that. This was the card. So if it wasn't that card, that came up 2 or 3 later when I was able to do what I wanted to do, which was, hey, I'll go up here with an encounter token, then I'll bring my character back into a place where they will draw any heat over there away from the factory itself. That could have worked better. Had I had better power cards, that could have helped. But obviously I was going in only with, the 5 that I had in power cards. But I think part of that is if you do an enlistment bone, at least get this enlistment out so you get more factory cards as the game goes. That could have been more useful too. So that is it. Always good to come back to Scythe every now and again and get walloped on by some Automa. And this time we did it with some friendly little airships. Hope the colors weren't too confusing. It just, I think, made for a much better video so people could actually track what was happening on the board instead of having the darker pieces just kind of blacking out some of these hexes. So I was glad to be able to do it that way. Any questions, comments, epiphanies, put them in the comment section below and I will get back to you. You can go on my Patreon page. You can see the upcoming schedule. I'm probably going to step away from Scythe for a bit to come now. Just a lot of other things I want to get on the channel, but it will always be there, near and dear to my heart. The nostalgia is rich for me, and again, just thinking of my journey as a gamer. But until next time, whether it's Scythe, whether it is Spirit Island, whether it is Atlantis with a game of Mage Knight, whether it is Gaia Project, I look forward to the next time you can join me here at Solo Playthroughs. And in the meantime, happy gaming.